Hello and welcome. This will be the JavaScript tutorial, and we're going to start at the beginning and we'll work our way through. We're in the first chapter right now, and we'll be dealing with variables, however you want to pronounce it. So what we'll be going over is variables, and naming conventions. Okay, which the common practice ones, of course, which the types that are letters, numbers, underscores, and dollar signs, and can't start with a number. Okay, for variables. For naming conventions, we can use camel case, an underscore, or a Pascal case. Okay, a camel case will start with, say if you have two words, you put them together, the first word's first letter will be undercase, and then a new word, each new word after that will be uppercase. So if we had first name, it'll be written like this right here. The F is undercase, lowercase and the end is uppercase. Okay, and if there was another word added on here, that would be also uppercase too. So if we wanted to add one on there, say name first, first name, first name Nick. So if we add a Nick to that, this is how it would look. It would be another capital N, and then the rest of the words lowercase, just like so. Okay, so now for underscore, we'll separate each word with an underscore. Okay, now if we had a third word on there, we would use another underscore and another word. So it would look like this. That's considered the underscore naming convention. Now the reason why I'm showing you these first three ones is because it's the common practice usually most people use. Most use camel case. Next popular one is underscore, and then below that is Pascal case. Okay, so Pascal case is the first letter of each name will be capitalized like so. The F is capitalized and the N is capitalized. So if I were to add another name onto it, it will look like this. It'll be another capital, and then the rest of the name is lowercase. Okay, so now we offer variables. We have three ways to declare variables. Okay, we have let, we have const, and we have var. Var is in parentheses because it's not common anymore. We barely use it, but if you do come across it, just so you know, it is almost like const with a few differences. Okay, var is considered const before const came out. Just has a few differences between it, which we will show in the video or future videos. Okay, so let's get our console open here. Okay, so let's bring that up here. Get a nice space going. So we're gonna go over to our script file in this first. So what we're doing right here, we're in chapter 1, which is our root folder, and we're looking at our first video, which is variables. Okay, variables and constants. So we have a basic HTML template, and in the body we have everything I showed you that was on the page. Okay, so we're not dealing with no CSS right now, but we do have our script tag, which is at the bottom, and we write our script tag with the left arrow, the name script, and then we put our source, okay, which will link it to our script file, which script.js, which is our JS file, which is right here. We'll be looking at that in a minute. And then after we enter the source in, our right arrow, and then our closing tag. At this point, you should know what the opening and closing tags are, but if not, you can also make a quick template if you put shift exclamation point. As you can see here, if you're using VS Code, it will do it for you. If you use shift exclamation point, as you can see, I'll get rid of that. And as you can see, our console is filling up with things because they're not commented out on our JS, the JS file. Okay, so first thing we're gonna do right now is we're gonna make a variable of first name. Okay, we're gonna use let. So if we change it, okay, if we use let, we won't be able to. If we use const, we won't be able to change it, I should say. So we got let first name, which is camel case, equals Joe. Okay, and then we got let last name, which is also camel case, equals Doe. So when we console log it, which is right here, we use a console log, and then our parentheses, first name, comma, last name, and when we do that, it will log the name right here. Okay, as you can see, Joe Doe. You can log it separate if you wanted to. It doesn't matter. Okay. So if you wanted it on 2 different lines, you can also put it like that. Okay, which would give you, don't mind, I'm gonna take the one and have all that stuff out here. Alright, so I took the warnings out and the errors, so this way we don't have a bunch of stuff filling up the console. Okay. So now, when we declare them in the console log separately, we'll get one on each line, which is as so. Okay. We could also assign bolt names to a variable. Okay. And then we'll do each one. And then log that out to the console. Let me get rid of that. Okay. And as you can see, well, we gotta change this here. We'll put that to name. And we got that. And now as you can see, when we're doing it this way, now we have Joe Doe, which is normal, but it's together. Okay. That's one way of doing it. We could also do it, which will give us a space, which is concatenation, which we'll get. We'll go over this soon in another video. Okay. Or we could just do, so we'll do backticks, and then we'll do my name is, and we'll do a $, brackets, and we'll put the variable name inside the brackets. Okay, so that'll print our first name, and then we'll do our last name, doing the same thing again, but the only difference, we'll use the last name variable. Okay, let's get it back cleared out. And as you can see right here, my name is Joe Doe. Okay, when you have the backticks, you can write everything in like this. It's the easiest way. It's called template literals, which we'll also go over in a future video. So let's get that out of there, and then I'll put this back. as you can see, it's back and we're good to go. So on to the next thing. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna reassign the variable. Okay, so we're gonna reassign the first name variable. That's why we use let, so we can reassign it. Okay, so by reassigning it, we should get our new name when we log it out again. Okay, everything works from top to bottom when it executes. So if this first name is below this variable, first name, Joe, then this will be the last one that shows up. I'll show you in a second. Okay, so to change variable, we'll do first name equals, and it will Todd. Okay, that's how we change the variable. And then we will log the variable, okay, which console.log first name, and we should get Todd in the console. And as you can see right here, we're getting Todd, so that's correct. Okay, so now say we had this one after Todd. Which one do you think we'll get? Now, as you can see, because it executes top from bottom, we get Joe. See how Joe's second, Todd's first, and then if we comment that out, we will be back at Todd because Todd is the only one showing, and Joe is now before it. Okay. So now what we're going to look at is we're going to look at score. I'm sorry, const. Okay, so we're gonna name another variable. Okay, we're gonna do const score equals 100. Okay, now when we log it out, now we get the number, which is our score, which is 100. Okay, so that's using a const, don't forget. So when we go down here to the bottom and we try to change the score to say 111, we'll get, I'll put the errors in for this now, just so you can see the error. Now as you can see, we still get the 100 for our variable score, but down here now we get an invalid assignment to const score. So add our const, which is score. Okay, we try changing it right here on line 26. We try changing it to 111. Okay, which is an invalid assignment. We can't do that. Const. Okay, which means constant. So we won't be able to change it like this, but it will log out the previous one. So if we take this and we comment it out, don't mind this one, but as you can see, the const error is no longer there. So we're good to go. And what we're going to do now is with const again, we're going to make an array using const, which is a constant, and we're going to log that array. Okay, so as you can see here, we have our array, and then we have our 4 numbers, or 3 if you're going by the key index. Okay, so we have our array. Now what we're going to do, let's highlight that. You can't change an array, but we can add an item to the array, essentially changing the array but not the variable. The variable will stay the same, but we changed the array, so don't get that confused. Just because it's a constant, we can't change the variable r, which is for array, okay, but we can change the array itself, which is what is represented by the variable here. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the array. Okay, we're going to change the array to 1, 2, and 3 instead of 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to log it. So essentially what we're doing right here, we're trying to change the array this way and what it equals. We won't be able to do that. But say we wanted to add a number to the array itself and not the variable. So if we use array.push, which we'll explain in a later video, and we add 6 in the parentheses, okay, we will have now changed our array. Alright, so as you can see, our array that we just pushed, array.push 6. So what that does is we're adding 6 to the array of numbers. And as you can see, we got 6 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. Now if you remember before, we couldn't change it by using the variable, but we could push another value into the array. But also, with an array object, which we'll also get into more in later on, because we're only explaining variables and constants right now. Now if we had an object, okay, which is, this is an object, constant person equals, and then we got to open and close brackets, and a key value pair, which is, this is the key and this is the value. We call them key value pairs. So as you can see, we are logged our object, which is right here. It's called an object. Here we go. Oh, there we go. So what we're going to do now essentially is, because we're using const still, and we're using a const with an object this time instead of a variable, we're going to try to change the variable, which would be person, and turn it into girl. So as you can see, it gives us the array still from last time, and then there's no object anymore, and it gives us an error, girl is not defined. Okay, so trying to change this object, person object, and make it equal girl. So we're getting the error. We can't change this variable because it's a constant. Okay? But say if we were to try to change value inside the object, which this would be values inside the object. Okay? We'll block that out. And we'll try changing name inside. Okay, so what we do is we'll do person dot name, which is the key, and then we'll equal, which is the assignment operator, and we'll write changed. So when we save it, we should get an object with name changed. As you can see here, we have our object, name, and changed. Okay, so we couldn't change essentially the object itself, which is person, but we could change the values inside. Could also, but we'll get into that a little bit more later on in a future video. Some variables and the const. Okay, so what we have is we have let a, which is a variable, and we'll have b as a variable and c as a variable. So we have 3 variables. We defined the variables, but we didn't give them a value. Okay, instead of let for each one, we can break them up by a comma. Okay, and then we have constant d equals 10, e equals 2, w equals 5. Just logging it out as is, we get undefined undefined, undefined, and then we get 10, we get 2, and we get 5. Okay, so this would be our 3 undefineds, and then the D variable is 10, the E variable is 2, W variable is 5. Okay, because we did not assign these a value, they will show up in the console as undefined. But if we were to say we were at A equal 15, okay, as you can see, now we have 2 undefineds. So we have the 15, which is the first letter, and then B and C, which is both undefined, and then the 10 to 5 again. So that's normal. I wanted to show you what they would do and how they come up undefined. Okay, undefined means that the variable was defined, but the variable was never called upon or read. So I hope you understood that. Thank you for taking a look. I appreciate it. There's more videos to come. We'll get more and more in depth. I'll try my best to help you learn stuff. And thank you. Have a good one. See you in the next video.